All right, everyone, we should be live. However, just a moment. Got to make sure that that's actually the case. You never know. I'm on YouTube and Twitch now. By the way, I will be looking into OBS software actually because they have upgraded their service. It looks now like I might be able to hatch in as well to D Live and possibly even Rumble, Odyssey, all these others, and I won't even need a stream key, like a stream key. If that's the case, great. I can't wait to make the switch. Until then, I'm still using StreamYard here. It is kind of, it's boomer friendly, esque. It took a little while to figure it out on Twitch, but yeah. By the way, we are at 1 BLU already, 300 people watching cross-platform, and it just barely began. That's about the average that watch live if Biden gives an address. We will be doing Biden's remarks from the other day with regards to FEMA. This is actually like he's a total lolcow. The remarks are kind of off the chain. The reaction of other people is funnier than what Biden himself said. And of course, IDA itself isn't funny. There have been, I'm assuming, casualties by now. Thankfully, the levee's held and everything. And some people are like, well, it's going to be Biden's Katrina. His Katrina's Afghanistan, which is why at the end of this, well, no spoiler alerts. We'll get to it in time. This address is not very long. It's only about 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, but we will be watching it and ridiculing him as he deserves. You can send super chats if you want. I will be reading out some of them throughout this, but we'll mainly be responding to Biden. Also, before that, I will get to this. It has been confirmed. I did make a video this morning, and it was based on the initial Al Jazeera report, which the people in Kabul were claiming that the U.S. drone strike that happened the other day had killed civilians, including a number of children. At the time that that was available, it wasn't 100% clear that that was the case, and you have to take Al Jazeera with a grain of salt. Don't start trusting like Al Jazeera, Press TV, RT, and stuff like that just because you do not trust the Western legacy media. They're just the Eastern legacy media. It's the same fucking shit. Here's what you have to do. Take everything with a grain of salt and understand that if Al Jazeera or RT get the chance to ridicule U.S. foreign policy, they'll take it. The same way as CNN will definitely take the opportunity to defend Beijing Biden. But we'll get to that in a minute. Dr. Zhaodin, Sticks, does Kamala Harris have a Dr. Strangelove arm waiting to Heil Hitler? No, she's got the General Mao thing going on, I think. She's more on the leftoid side of things. I realize that the Nazis were socialists, but they weren't quite as far out there economically, at least, as the commies. The commies are definitely worse. By the way, we have a bunch of people joining on Twitch as well. I'm looking for ways actually to expand on there, but I don't even know how the tagging system works, if it even exists on there. So I don't know. I'm doing this one step at a time. I'm coming out of my 2000s content creator shell in order to join the semi-modern era. F YouTube 10.2. I'm voting Kevin Paffrath for Cali recall. As long as you vote to recall Newsom, it doesn't really matter. Metalhead 10,000. It's so ironic that Biden's Katrina is Afghanistan, while a massive hurricane, Ida, is pounding the southeast. Yeah, but I don't think it quite got to a Cat 5, depending on who you ask. Katrina was arguably on the edge of being a Category 6 hurricane, so it is a little bit different. Things have improved there. The irony is that happened because of Bush's failures. So Bush giving a gift to Biden. Jen, totally unrelated, but I've watched you since 2010, and every night I go to sleep listening to you. Great content, as you say. You are truly talented. Well, thank you for that. So I put you to sleep? I'm not interesting enough? Just joking there. Anyway, let's get to a little bit of Beijing Biden here. Now, by the way, as an aside, I will say this first. They're definitely redacting downvotes on this video because I downvoted it last night when I first watched this, and the downvote wasn't there this morning. So I can personally attest to that. That's, I think, the first time that that's happened that I'm aware of, although I'm sure that other videos have had that happen before, that I've downvoted. Normally, I wait till the end of the video, and I do that in good faith as a creator because I'm like, well, some people judge my videos up front on the nose. They watch 2 seconds of it and they're like, shit. I give Biden the benefit of the doubt, which is more than 99.9% of his other detractors will do. I probably shouldn't, but I do, just out of habit. Treasure Choiler, my clank is your clank. Yes, we clanked on a live stream of Ida last night, actually. There were probably about 1,000 clankers in there, and they had to draft more mods and everything. It was great. Reminds me of that time that Chunk Yogurt got trolled during the midterms. The Swamp Cleaner. I finally caught a stream. What happens if the drone strike intel was given to us by the Taliban to do their dirty work for them? Well, it's always possible. You know, Biden, he doesn't know what's going on. Other people are handling it. Most of those are woke generals and other bullshitters. Some fagot. You called it, though I'm sure most of us never expected to be this evil. Yeah, it's easy to know that Biden will be a failure. By the way, we're at almost 5 BLUs already. Biden loser units, almost 1,500 people. JJT04, also ironic that Ida struck on the 16th anniversary of Katrina. Well, that's just because of hurricane season. That's a coincidence. That's not mimetic. If the levees had broken and like 100,000 people had drowned, Biden would get shielded by the legacy media. They'd start talking about how the Republicans hate infrastructure or something like that. It's the governor's fault. Murrica Dark, would love to debate you on karmic versus non-karmic reincarnation sometime. My own experience in past lives were far from pleasant, bucking the trend. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I'd be willing to debate reincarnation sometime. I'm kind of more into spiritual than political debate just because it is technically of more interest to me. The political stuff and the current events are more like a day job thing. The spiritual sort of is what I delve into deeper. Aaron, really love the demonology book. Oh, thank you very much. Other collections may follow. I might do a collection of theosophy at some point, making Logo Daedalus blush. Dan Jakes, $4.99, no comment, thank you. Raul Duke, Sticks, what was it you said Kamala reminded you of? During the election, you had a great comparison of her and what she was like. An HR spokeswoman. The person with big glasses, too many bracelets, and tappy shoes that sort of like backstabs people. Or that bitch from Harry Potter, actually. I think it was the 5th book, maybe the 6th, I don't know. You know, the one from the Ministry of Magic that like is constantly enforcing Ministry of Magic rules and, you know, running kids down and stuff. And ends up, you know, fucked up at the end. Doesn't she get raped by centaurs or something? There's an insinuation there that's definitely M-rated. Mr. Wonderful, if you want to go further on Twitch, you should do these streams in a hot tub while body painting. Yeah, I know Twitch is mostly notorious for women who are scantily clad pretending to game. I'm not going to do that. I'll put on the jacket without any shirt. That's about as close as you'll get. Girl of the Valley, condescending fire crotch, said that they were going to cunt down the enemy, and instead they blow up some kids. Disgraceful. I can't believe this is a mistake. They are doing this on purpose. Oh, trust me, Biden's logistics are nowhere near as sophisticated as you'd think. The Vodka Haze. The biggest blame for Afghanistan isn't Trump, Biden, or Johnson. It is Bush and Blair and the Hawks who pushed this failed imperialistic project. Nope, the biggest blame for the withdrawal is Biden because he is the one overseeing the withdrawal. We could have had a nice, clean withdrawal under Trump. He already laid everything out. It was already trilaterally agreed to. None of these problems would be happening if we had stuck to the initial plan. We did have to get out. Getting in there was a mistake, but that has nothing to do with any recent administration. Emily C., will more people welcome evidence that the election was I can't read that part. Now that it's obvious Biden is unfit for office. No, they've got cognitive dissonance, but they may push for impeachment. Okay, we're going to get to some Joe Biden here. We're going to ridicule Biden. We're already at 6 BLUs, pushing 7. So keep in mind that more people will watch this video by far than watch the White House video here that I'm going to be ridiculing. So we'll get started here. So here's Beijing Biden talking about Hurricane Ida for a while.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm Deanne Criswell, the FEMA administrator.
And by the way, all these people are in masks, despite the fact that they are all ostensibly vaccinated, just so we're aware.
And just really quickly, this is the National Response Coordination Center where we have 22 federal interagency partners that have been gathered here since earlier in the week to support the planning efforts and preparedness efforts for Louisiana and Mississippi, as well as any other states that might be impacted by Hurricane Ida. As you know, it did make landfall as a very strong Category 4 hurricane here just a few hours ago, and we are expecting catastrophic impact.
Tune in, drop out. I was your first super chat on your first Sunday live stream. Anyway, we need to start demanding who is running the show. Folks need to stop pretending Biden is actually calling the shots. Agreed. Jesse Martin, I think if Larry Elder wins the recall, he might lay the groundwork for California to become a swing state in a few years. Is this dreaming or possible? It's possible. Yeah, politics is not unidirectional. People on the right love to use that as a boogeyman in order to scare people into voting for Republican candidates, but it's not unidirectional.
Impacts from this. I have spoken to both the mayor of New Orleans as well as the governor of Louisiana just a few hours ago, and we have teams embedded with them so we can respond quickly as soon as we know what the impacts are. We should start to see some of those impacts tonight, but we won't have the real picture until tomorrow.
We won't know how many people are going to die till tomorrow, she says. Biden, meanwhile, he's got his mask on for no reason. He's been double vaxxed. She probably has too. She's got her mask off. Oh my God, and she's talking. The Australians think that she's a terrorist now. Murrica Dark, did Biden solve Puerto Rico while we weren't looking? Notice you don't hear about it anymore. Bet they bring up Trump and PR if things go bad with Ida. Yeah, they will. As a deflection. Troublesome Boner, will you ever enable subs on Twitch so you can get emotes? I would love to be able to clank in other channels. I don't know. I've only used Twitch a couple of times. I'll have to look into that. I don't know how to use the fucking site. Robert Gonzalez, why aren't the Republicans constantly pushing for impeachment? It should be talked about nonstop. No, it shouldn't. They should get to work because that would be a distraction and it would start to take attrition on them. Just when the Democrats were trying to impeach Trump over and over again, they got cocksmacked. Lawrence007, look up Chris Wyatt Africa. He is a retired U.S. colonel, who would like to speak to you. I haven't heard of him, but if he DMs me on Twitter, we can set something up maybe. Adam M., do you expect a cleaner election in 2024? Yes, because the defortification has already begun. Valkyrie Medic, I'd really enjoy seeing some gaming streams. Ask Taryn if he'll read the chat for you. The ones on your other channel keep getting copyright strikes. My other channel? I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I don't have a gaming channel. Copyright strikes. It must be on a channel that I'm not controlling. There are people who have impersonated me in the past, including on Telegram. I do not have a Telegram channel. Keeping that in mind, people pretend to be me on there and post Nazi shit, and it's probably to try to give Jared Holt his next scoop. Bobby McBobface, wow, as if one Katrina incident wasn't enough. Well, this isn't like Katrina, which is something to be thankful for.
Moving additional resources in.
Back to ridiculing Joe.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
Well, folks,
I'm a fool.
you've got your hands full, but you've done an incredible job so far in prep for this.
See, he doesn't even know what job they do. He doesn't know anything about what FEMA does.
Yeah, Jill and I are just getting back from Dover Air Force Base up in my home state, where we met with the families of 13 fallen heroes. And
By the way, at one point during that meeting, he was checking his watch. And this has become a hot take for people on the right. I don't know the context, so I don't know whether it was specifically an inappropriate moment to check his watch. It could have been just to see if things were going well, but I mean, that's classic Joe Biden. You have to fact check whether he has fucked up royally. Like with the Israeli PM there, and people were passing around a video which shows him, looking like he's nodding off. Now, a few seconds after that video cuts off, he does respond to the prime minister. But the fact that it had to be fact checked by Reuters, isn't that kind of telling? The fact that you have to fact check whether the president of the United States literally fell asleep listening to a major foreign dignitary. That's where we've gotten with this stupid administration.
lost their lives in the service of our country. And while we're praying for the best in Louisiana.
No, he's praying for more dead troops, because more dead troops means that he can conduct more strikes on little kids and kill them. And then he can pretend to be, I'm going to take you out behind the woodshed and we're going to do a push-up contest, fat. That's what he wants. He wants to be the tough guy. But nobody's taking it. He's fucking pathetic. He's like a little baby in his mind.
let's keep them in our prayers as well. I've just been briefed by the FEMA leadership, and we have real leadership on Hurricane Ida.
Real leadership as opposed to Joe.
And response. And the storm has made, as you know better than anyone, but I'm speaking to the public at large here. The storm made landfall a few hours ago, and it continues to rage and ravage everything it comes in contact with.
That's just like Joe Biden in an elementary school. The Arcadian 300, go back on Sidebar with Viva and Barnes. You guys work great together. Your best live stream. Yeah, I'd love to go back on there. All they got to do is contact me anytime, and I'm game. Jason Telesfero, it's vaxxed or masked, Joe Biden. Yeah, I know he does both, but only for show. Chicken and lettuce. What's to stop shenanigans in the 2024 election? Was what happened in 2020 a one-time thing? Well, states mainly control the elections, and a lot of them are defortifying things to try to make sure that things are fair and proper. And a lot of them are swing states. So, I mean, nobody cares about what happens in a blue or a deep red state. It's a foregone conclusion. It's like a dozen states decide your election. S. Clark, hey Sticks, longtime listener, first time calling. I just wanted to say it's good to see an alternative man running alternative journalism staying on the air. Never back down, good sir. It's not really journalism. I mean, it is my opinion. It's just an informed opinion, which is more than you'll get from the leftoids on YouTube and places like that. Back to Joe Biden making an embarrassment out of himself. Wait till the ending. Oh, boy.
Is a life-threatening storm. Governor Edwards, an old friend, has characterized it as one of the strongest hurricanes, strongest in Louisiana history since 1850. And
there's a lot of records from the 1850s, dude.
Immense. We shouldn't kid ourselves. And so the most important thing I can say.
By the way, I heard we shouldn't kid ourselves from more people than Joe Biden the other day, and I'm wondering who developed this soundbite slogan. And why, but it was definitely central. Biden's not the one that thought that little quip up. Wash, another wonderful fireside chat with President Abe Simpson. President Goofball, more asterisk administration. By the way, we're almost at 10 BLUs. That is 3,000 viewers is 10 Biden loser units. There will be far more people watching this reaction video, even despite not being live, than watch the initial White House briefing. And of course, keep in mind that they get ratioed. Clankers do not.
Right now is that everyone should listen to the instructions from local and state officials. Just how.
What if those local and state officials are Republicans? I wonder if Biden would be telling them to listen to them then.
Dangerous this is. And
probably not.
It's not just the coast. It's not just New Orleans. It's north as well. The rain.
NOLA, he messed up New Orleans and NOLA there. He was like reading the teleprompter. Nolines. What a weirdo.
Fall is expected to be exceedingly high. And to the people of the Gulf Coast, I want you to know that
there's going to be a lot of rain around them parts. I remember when there was a lot of rain when I was a kid. I was knee-high to a grasshopper, and Corn Pop kept putting his razor blade in all the puddles and tapping it against the curb, and then he threatened to cut me. But I wrapped a chain around his neck and said, look, fat, I can do more sit-ups than you can.
Praying for the best and planning, prepared for the worst. As soon as the storm passes, we're going to put the country's full might behind the rescue and recovery. And I mean that. I've been around for a lot of hurricanes. I'm no expert.
He's been around for a lot of hurricanes. Yes, Joe, that's one thing we definitely agree upon. Caitlin Trigg, weird question, but in your studies, how should someone interrupt what is or isn't an omen? I don't believe in omens. If you believe in them, look more into folklore and find a counter omen, and then you'll feel better. Trust me, like everything is good and bad luck. Scott Jackson 117, old man yells at hurricane. Yeah, and everything else. He can't seem to speak normally either. Like he randomly raises his voice and, you know, stuff like that. And it's just kind of off-putting. Godfather, hey Sticks, here in Texas, we're going to have unlicensed carry of firearms beginning September 1st. But do you think the federal government is going to go after it? They can. They haven't in most other states that have unlicensed carry. Yeah, you're fine. Texas is great as far as gun laws go. Jennifer Blakeman, 99 cents with no comment. Thank you. Bulwark AC. Terran references from Razorfist. It was a joke. Oh, I don't know. He gets more into games and music than I do. He's more into analyzing that. I do the current events shuffle. His is probably more entertaining than Joe Biden, but when you have a president who's actually exciting like Trump, then I've got the advantage. Keith Sykes, keep up the great work. Absolutely. Salty Kraken, I'm starting to suspect Corn Pop was a good dude. Yeah, if only he and his greaser buddies had dealt with this problem years ago, we wouldn't have this shit going on. 10 Hammers, we like rice here in Louisiana, not potato. Oh, there's some good potato-based recipes down there too. You can put Cajun seasoning in anything. Joe Biden's dentures, I own a 400-acre farm growing corn, switched all the soybeans this spring. I got a thank you card and a neck scarf in the mail from Jared Holt. Yeah, you'll be supplying him with his autumnal meals, with his tofurkey for Thanksgiving.
But I've been around for a lot of hurricanes, and I don't think we've
Back
ever
to
had
Joe.
preparation.
President's got the floor.
Long-term preparation with the levee system and preparation here. Thanks to the administrators' leadership and the hard work of the FEMA team, all of whom were gathered behind me, many of whom were gathered behind me.
All of whom.
Pre-positioned resources that we know are going to be needed.
But Biden thinks a room of like 30 people is all of FEMA. It shows you how intelligent he is. Buck Fiden, now that our votes don't matter anymore, do you think Hunter Biden will be a better president in 2024? He'll OD on crack long before that. Sleazy P. Martini's on it.
In the region. This includes 2.5 million meals, 3 million liters of water. We've got
Why won't the federal government give me MREs? Can I get a pepperoni pizza MRE from you, Biden? By the way, can I have like a 50 cal and some like rifle armor too? Like you give a bunch of shit to the Taliban and probably to ISIS. Can I have an armored Humvee? I mean, I'm just gonna dig it into a hole in my backyard and use it like a little turret and just hang out and like go camping in it and stuff like that till it rots out and finally falls apart, which will take some time. That armor's pretty thick. Why can't I have all this cool shit? Why does the Taliban get all the good shit? Do I have to like pledge loyalty to ISIS or something like that before the US government will actually give a shit about my opinion? Because it seems more and more like that. The government's like giving terrorists and extremists and stuff heavy weaponry while saying that you don't need more than 10 bullets in your magazine. It's just, stupid. Unifrog just gave 69, I think Australian dollars, but I'm not sure. Thank you very much. No comment. And back to Biden bloviating.
Generators in place, and we're in close touch with the power providers to get and restore power as soon as possible, because a lot of it's going to go out, and we should be prepared that it can take a long time, no matter how much we've pre-positioned, which we have, that it's going to take a long time for a lot of it to get back up. It could take a matter of weeks for some places. We've got
it'll take longer than to get all the little kids out of Kabul so I can smell them and make sure they're okay. Mason A, the Coast Guard is the only useful federal organization in the Gulf right now. Yeah, they do a good job, although they help run the CIA's cocaine, so don't give them too much credit. I actually thought about joining the Coast Guard because I'm like, well, it's kind of like the Navy, only you probably don't have to go blue ocean. So like, you stay close to the coast and they eat prawns and shit like that. Most of them steal the cocaine from the shipment. Laura Spedaflora, 1999, no comment, thank you. Multi-happy hacker, I own a 40-acre farm. What can I do with that and that little land? It has a pond on it and like 20 acres of crop reduction program trees. 40 acres is a lot of fucking land. You can live off a single acre quite easily. Wouldn't even take that much effort. Get a good canning operation going. Lots of vinegar. Get apple trees, make your own cider vinegar, and then do a lot of pickling, I guess. Lane Grimes, did Biden actually kill kids? What did I miss on this? There was a drone strike the other day, and I'll go into this before I finish up with Biden stuff. There was a drone strike the other day in Kabul, supposedly in retaliation for imminent ISIS threat on the airport. That may be true. The problem is that a bunch of kids died in the drone strike. This has now been confirmed by CNN, Al Jazeera, and others. My assumption is that this means that an ISIS member possibly involved with training was using human shields or was with their whole family, trying to vaporize them all while they attacked the gate. Problem is, of course, the US just killed a bunch of kids. But the legacy media probably won't even get the chance to ask him a question about this because he'll just do what he does at the end of this, which you will see, which is do a 180 the second anyone brings up Afghanistan. He does not want to talk about it. He knows Hurricane Ida, even if it kills a bunch of people, is way less of a disaster than what's going on in Afghanistan. Daniel Lawrence, if I move the one county over to Arlington, would that make me more of a Vermonter than Bernie? Yes, indeed. He is from Brooklyn. Adam M, are the Afghan refugees long-term residents? Yeah, they'll be there forever. They're not going anywhere. Bug off, Echo, Lick Smash. After watching that Fox reporter asking Biden questions, it feels like keeping him in is almost elder abuse. He's a dipstick, but still. Yeah, it is elder abuse. His family is abusing their elderly relative. So is the DNC. Smooth Super, new slogan, Biden, another mess in America. Oh, not just America. It's the problem. All right, back to Biden going crazy.
13 urban search and rescue teams.
For
those of you
urban
who aren't
rescue
familiar
teams.
With that, these teams make up about 70
Jesus.
people and experts, each of these teams, and they can do real serious recovery work. More than 100 ambulances and emergency medical teams have been activated.
By the way, is it just me or does it sound like he's slurring his speech more than usual in this particular address? And I'm not joking. I mean, like, compare this to like his last couple of addresses. Does it sound more like he's talking like this? Did he have like a mini stroke in his sleep or something? Again, I'm not being facetious. It's not even a joke. It sounds like he's talking differently. Buck Fiden, how much you get for being a CIA agent? Yeah, a couple people think I'm a glowy. This is really funny since I have a more than 10-year track record on YouTube and elsewhere. I wish I was getting that CIA money. Instead, I have to work for a living. I can't even re-deal cocaine that I seize from Mitch McConnell's fishing vessel. It's really, really sad. Why can't I get some good coke? Get to talk to Sleazy.
With the Red Cross and local partners to open dozens and dozens of shelters with cots and blankets and meals to support those we need to evacuate. That'll happen.
Seriously, does he sound different than normal in this? I just barely even noticed. Like, I glossed it over the other night. He sounds like he's more muddled, like not even in his thought processes, but the way he speaks. Like the way his jaw works or something like that. More mumbly than normal.
But mostly northern state and maybe in parts of Mississippi.
Sounds like Don Amish. Adam M, sounds like the meds are kicking in or wearing off. That might be his problem last night. Maybe that's why he didn't want to answer questions. Scott Jackson 117, everywhere at the end of Joe, the caretakers.
And I've already signed an emergency declaration for both Louisiana as well as Mississippi.
I want to hear him try to pronounce a couple of Louisiana place names. I want to hear him say Biloxi, as well as the others that I won't even bother to try to pronounce because I can't. I want to hear him do that. I want to hear him pronounce some Oklahoma place names too. He'll be there all day, so we won't have to deal with him actually making an address. It'll just be him stammering the entire time.
And I want to make sure that we're ready to surge all the response capability that we have to deal with whatever comes next. And a lot's going to be coming.
A lot's going to be coming, but probably from Afghanistan, I would imagine. Paul Coucher, UK MP slammed Biden from all sides. Yes, he's not apparently beloved by the UK's government right now. Both liberals and conservatives done with Biden because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, which makes sense. It was funny when, what's his name, Boris Johnson or whatever his name is there, the PM of the UK, basically snubbed him. That was funny. It's not often that Americans laugh at their own chief executive either. Like, there have been, like, even with Obama or something, it's like, he's doing the wrong thing. I'm not a fan of him, but I'm hoping that he'll, be decent. With Biden, I don't even bother to hope because I know it's not going to happen anymore. Joe Biden's dentures. I'm the reason Biden sounds like he's drunk. Yeah, maybe his Fixodent wore off. Satur, 1979. I think he's trying to fake an accent. Yeah, maybe. He's trying to pull a Hillary Clinton where she does that twang. I keep hot sauce in my handbag. Y'all can vote for me. I know just what it's like to be a little bit black. That's basically what Hillary Clinton was doing on that radio show, by the way. Just being total racist. Adam M. Must have had a bender with Hunter last night. Yeah, I think if he smoked crack at this point, he'd have an aneurysm and die. John Marafa, sounds like the docs need to increase his doses of Aricept, Exelon, and Namenda. Yeah, I'm assuming those are dementia drugs. Jennifer Blakeman, so will IDA or the Afghan refugees be what opens the first COVID camps? You probably won't see those because the public's interest in them is waning, which is why the legacy media has pivoted to Afghanistan. By the way, talk about a loss for Biden because it's his weakest link right now. Okay, we'll try to finish this up.
Been in touch with the governors of Alabama, Mississippi,
Alabama.
Louisiana, and my team at the White House has been in touch with other state, local, and federal officials in the region. And they know there'll be the full resources and support of the federal government. So I want to emphasize again, this is going to be a devastating hurricane, a life-threatening storm.
Jason Teleshforo, my bush been whacked. Joe Biden.
So please, all you folks in Mississippi and
Mississippi, all y'all folks in Mississippi, please be safe and wear a mask. COVID is way worse than a hurricane. Sherry K, just want to say my husband and I enjoy your videos. I love to hear old Joe say Bayou Le Batre, although that is in Alabama. I'm probably butchering the latter part of that. Le Batre, I don't know. Just imagine Biden trying to say it. People already criticize me because I'm a Vermonter, so we drop like the T and words and stuff like that, and have weird slang terms. Just imagine Joe, creepy Joe from Delaware.
In Louisiana, Mississippi, and God knows, maybe even further east, take precautions. Listen, take it seriously.
Take precautions, but don't prep. Prepping is evil. It makes you an extremist. Never have any food on hand. Always rely on the grocery store that the government allows to stay open.
Really, very seriously. And,
Why do you think that I tell people to always have 2 weeks of food on hand? It's preferably potable water as well.
The whole of government effort is ready to get to work. I can't think of any time where the federal, state, and local folks have worked together more closely and in advance of an obvious significant natural disaster. And folks, we're
Yeah, but Godfather Sticks, what do you think of Greg Abbott? He's all right, but not as good as DeSantis or some of the others that are standing against fascism. And by the way, Rated Hex is bringing something up that I didn't think to talk about, but it is important. North Korea has reactivated their nuclear reactor. So they're probably priming to do another test. This is something that didn't happen under Trump. It'll happen under Biden, though, because they figure, well, Biden's out to lunch, number one. He's weak, number two, so we can do whatever the fuck we want. Fuck the peace negotiations. We're just going to become a nuclear power. Maybe next time they have 100 kiloton weapons. Maybe they hit half a megaton. Zachary Needfelt. Watch nearly every episode of yours on YouTube. I would be curious on your thoughts about having a stream with Jay Ward. There's good differences, and both of you articulate well. Keep up the excellence. If he contacts me, potentially. I haven't heard of him. But then again, I mean, I'm not really in the loop when it comes to content creators at this point because I'm too busy making my own content, especially books. The Grizzly, how will Biden buyer's remorse affect 2024, even if he's not who's running against Trump? 2022 is the bellwether of that. Wait till the midterms, and then we can talk about 2024. We got to wait and see what happens before that with Congress. Paul Coucher, what does this mean for the 22 elections? Oh, boy. My expectation is a bloodbath for the Dems. I expect them to get knocked off their pedestal really good, which is great. ASO, Uber Eats sucks. I tried to order Denny's and added my PayPal, and they decided to charge my card $25 without permission. Uber sucks. Hopefully PayPal will resolve the issues with Uber. Yeah, I don't use PayPal either unless you have to. Aaron Stiles, $1. No comment, thank you. Adonis Adams, I know this is a political stream, but I'm genuinely curious. What's your honest opinion on Lilith? It's based on the Sumerian Lilitu. It's not initially Hebraic at all. It's pagan in origin, and it's basically just a symbol of sort of the night-stalking, vampiric, evil female essence, as opposed to the positive female essence within magic that kills kids and causes disease and shit. Osu4 Mule Eater. I don't know what that stands for. If you ain't slurring your speech, you ain't Biden. Yeah, he's got some, there's some sort of problem that emerged in the last like 48 hours with his speech, and I'm not joking about that. Daniel Lawrence, ever thought about setting up a locals page? You could stream and say whatever you want. I have, and I'll be looking into that. All right, let's finish up with Biden. I keep saying that, but let's try.
We're going to be here to help the Gulf region get back on its feet as quickly as possible.
With our autism millennial juice.
As long as it takes. So thank you, and may God protect those in the path of the storm, and God willing, we'll get through this sooner than later. But don't kid yourself. This is going to take
Don't kid yourself.
A little bit of luck, and as my grandfather would say, the grace of God and the goodwill of the neighbors. But,
as my grandpa would say, "Wushka buffera Franchka French poo poo Gigi beer ramage gigi gigi goo 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 biggie fago baggish swaggle baga."
by the way, look out for your neighbors.
A guy under a bridge. Do you think midterms will be reinforced? You mean fortified? A lot less than the last election in all the states that count.
Look out for your neighbors. So thank you very much, and thank you, Commissioner. I really.
By the way, did you notice people rolling their eyes at him through their masks in the background this entire time? I did. I noticed. Oh boy. These people know that he's a vegetable and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, but they're being polite because, you know, he's the president in name. And because their bosses will fire them if he's on a live feed and they literally roll their eyes and they're like, oh, fuck you, Joe. Imagine if one of them flipped him off in the background. They'd be Stalinizing the footage almost immediately.
I think it all works. I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead.
This is the part. I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead.
I'm not going to answer Afghanistan now.
I'm not going to answer Afghanistan now. See, he's not going to answer anything that's not related to something that's considerably easier for him to talk about, because the problem is that not long after this, we conducted a drone strike which killed a bunch of kids. I wonder where the intel came for that. Selly, $10 says the Dems will have Biden steps down before the midterms and run Kamala Harris. Ours won't be willing to impeach as long as a Dem is next in line for the throne. If they run Kamala, they lose 2024 easily. Kamala Harris is incapable of winning an election. Even many Democrats agree with this. They won't stand for that. The Republicans just wouldn't have to run Adolf Satan himself and they would win that election. Trump would win, DeSantis easily, Rand, even Ted Cruz could win that. The Republicans would be scrambling to run if Trump doesn't. Cyan Wizard, motherfuckers in LA were literally considering whether it was a good idea to open a bigger shelter in a hard-hit area because of COOF concerns. Yeah, not surprising. California is not really part of the civilized world. It's basically a third world enclave in the US. A woo patrol, say Biloxi again. I just did. It's probably Biloxi or something like that. I don't know. Who gives a shit?
Okay.
Now watch, he wanders to the side. He's thinking of leaving. And then people clap and he comes back.
Really and truly, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know there's no group of Americans know how dangerous it is more than you guys do. So let's stay at it to the very end. I know you will. You've done everything you can to help prepare these folks, but I tell you what, it's I think they're going to be taking a look at additional levee systems a little further south before this is over. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I promise you, the governor is truly, truly, truly appreciative. Probably never going to meet him, but he's a good guy. He's really
probably never going to meet the governor of this state. I think is that a Republican? So basically, this is a swipe at the governor. This is basically when you compliment someone while insulting them. I think, in the context of Hurricane Ida about to bear down, potentially killing dozens or maybe hundreds of people, let me insult the governor while complimenting him. That makes a lot of sense. But did you see him try to wander off, and then he was blocked by people clapping in his face, and obviously, like, you know, much like Hillary, Pelosi, and others. That confuses him, so he flees. And then he gives an impromptu address, which he thinks is soaring and really inspiring. Well, let's keep at it, blah, blah, blah. But really, in the end, it's just muddled. And this whole time, he's been slurring his speech more than normal. And I can tell the difference. I have to watch his shit for a living in part. He's not even sounding the same as he did 2 days ago. That's not a great sign. When a person is at that age, that can mean he had a mini stroke in his sleep or something like that. It's not unheard of. Corona Cham. As an Aussie, I'm going to get gulagged in a Corona internment camp when I inevitably get the Wu flu because I refuse to get the jab. Well, I mean, there's a huge outback out there. You're Australian, right? You know, you've survived all the plants and animals that want to kill you anyway. Just go out and become a spider rancher or something. Raise snakes for a living out in the outback. HBG3, thoughts on MGTOW being controlled ops? I think a lot of it is. It's to try to get people to not breed as much. Certain cultural and ethnic groups, potentially, if you know what I mean. Cats are having a little bit of a ruffian moment out there. We'll see. Cold Warrior, who will Governor Elder appoint to the Senate once Feinstein's brain shuts off? Yeah, the Dems are terrified of that. See, here's why you need, if you're in California, to vote in favor of recalling Newsom. And if you're not registered to vote, do it literally now. Do it today. Here's why. The next person to run California probably replaces Feinstein. She's got dementia. She's very old. She's showing signs she might quit anyway. Even other Democrats have questioned the wisdom of having her there. If it's not a Democrat replacing her, well, then the Senate suddenly tilts GOP. Well, there you go. No more Biden policies. No more COVIDiot nonsense. No more Faucism. No more infrastructure deal. It'll be dead on arrival. Gavin Death. If the 22 bloodbath happens, what about President McCarthy after the midterms? Joe McCarthy? I think you'd have to practice necromancy first. Ryan McKenna. They literally can't afford the optics of him ever interacting with a real non-vetted American ever again. Not after he yelled bullshit at that guy. Yeah, most of it's scripted. You got to understand, when he takes questions at all, they are carefully chosen beforehand. He hasn't answered an impromptu question in weeks. Mr. Phaedrus, you're a North Star when it comes to the vulgar understanding of human machinations. Thank you for that. Illinois is going back into mandatory masking and vax. What encouragement, if any, can you give to my inevitable denial of it? If you're able to, you can move temporarily, permanently. People should be abandoning states when possible, and this isn't the case for most people, but for some of them. They should be abandoning the states that are attempting to run in an authoritarian manner. They should make it clear that they're not willing to deal with that, and use all legal means, if they can't leave, to defend themselves. Ramon CGTC. Puerto Rico governor is emulating Biden. Yeah, it's funny because people keep trying to blame Trump for the Puerto Rico bullshit, even though it was literally the governor of Puerto Rico not dispensing aid. It still gets brought up, even in the context of Ida, by the way, trying to defend Joe Biden. Tony Mathis, they are manipulating the hurricane numbers. At 10 a.m. yesterday, the wind speed was 100. Then in less than 1 hour, they said it was 150. Hurricanes don't do that. Distraction. This is the result of them taking the lowest calculated number and putting it forth because they don't want to alarm people. It's very, very common that after the hurricane has already begun to weaken, a day later, 2 days later, they revise the speed and pressure and so forth. That's normal. That's not a distraction. That's just weather data gathering. This happens literally every time. Sometimes they have to upgrade it later, like I think they did with Katrina. Aaron Stiles, how to fight testing data, vaccination status data. You didn't hear it from me, but those little COVID cards, you know, that have the CDC logo, that it's illegal to replicate. In theory, and this is just a theory, the reason why people are being charged for having forged COVID testing cards is because it contains the word CDC, the acronym, and the logo of the CDC. You can't use federal or state logos and brands like that for yourself. It is illegal. In fact, it's a felony. You shouldn't do that. In theory, if it were changed in a meaningful manner, I don't know that it would still fall outside of the law. My thing is just like from here in the Netherlands, there's no requirement for anything. I can do whatever the hell I want. It's funny because Americans are running around like they're like chickens with their heads cut off compared to Europeans, even though the Europeans are supposedly the cucked ones. Well, I mean, Denmark, the Netherlands, Sweden, a bunch of other countries are giving up all restrictions altogether. There's no mask die-off here. Nobody's panicked. I don't see anyone wearing a mask if I go to the store. It's even less than in Amsterdam. There was maybe 10, 15% of people at top. Here it's 0%. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody socially distances. Everyone's just going about normal. Elizabeth Beardsley, have you seen the parody with you, Salty, and the Quartering, Ancient Order of Men? Yes, I have. That was very, very funny, by the way. Just Smitten, would you do a cover of Queensryche's Silent Lucidity? I'd cherish it forever. I don't really do covers on demand, but I could look into it. I don't know if I've even heard that song. Probably have, but just couldn't, place it. Anyway, we're at 45 minutes. We've been at, what would that be? That would be a shit ton of Biden loser units, like 12 or 13. Keep in mind, more people will have watched this live stream than watched the official White House live stream, and we won't even be ratioed. And this isn't even peak. Like we had more than 7,000 actually not that long ago on one of my reactions. This one's not live though, so fewer people watching. So I think that I'll go offline here, 45, 46 minutes. You got to see President, in name, of course, Biden make a fool of himself again, wandering around not knowing where he was, talking about needing to mask up if you go to a shelter, which is hilarious. It's like, oh yeah, I'm fleeing a hurricane. My first priority is I need to definitely take my masks with me. Big priority. Otherwise I might get sick. I'd rather drown than get sick, says the Biden bootlicker. And of course, just the confusion and general slurring of the speech is kind of telling, because again, literally match this up against his last address and see if he's not slurring his speech more. Is it just me? Am I going completely goddamn nuts because of the Beijing Biden administration? I don't think I am. I think that there's something deeply wrong. Maybe he had another aneurysm or something, or has one forming. That's not even a joke. I wish I were joking sometimes about this administration. I don't want the United States run by a complete lunatic. Sure, it makes the low-hanging fruit one-liners easier. That's great for my income. It's great for my job. But, he might start a nuclear war or something like that. And, North Korea started its reactor again the other day, so who knows? Yeah, we're in literal hell. I think that we all died already. There was already a nuclear war. Probably Orange Man caused it, I guess they'd say. And now Biden is president for life. We have to suffer. That's about all. Peace out.